Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. Welcome back. 2025, we finally have episode 4 of the Moronic show. It has literally almost been 4 years since I've done this. Let me see. The last episode 3, came out November 19th, 2021. So we're almost at 4 years. Today is May 31st, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot has happened since then. Oh my God. I don't even know. I honestly just threw this all together real quick. Obviously the only people listening to this are my close friends, for now still. But everyone's been asking. Everybody's been begging. Jake, JJ, when are you going to do another episode? We need to get a window into your life. We need to see what you are doing every day. We need to hear about your life. Just fucking turn on the mic and ramble, bud. When you're in the car, just fucking turn your phone on. Talking to your phone mic. Just ramble. Let us hear what you're doing. So, we're back. And that's what we're doing. I also need a new creative outlet. I have not been creative in 4 years. I would say the last episode that came out, I have not been creative since then. So it's time to get back into it. What's crazy to think about is I would say a pretty big pivotal moment in my life that really helped me stop being creative for a little bit, other than having a job where I just worked full time and was pretty busy and just couldn't put energy into creativity as much anymore, was my dad dying. Yeah, Joe's in the ground. Rip in peace. I'm probably blowing out the fucking audio right now. I don't even have the mic set up at a distance. I am just fucking raw dogging this, holding it in my hand. So hopefully I can go back and edit some of it. But yeah, November 21st is what we said for the 3rd episode. A year later, not even a full year after that. So actually, let's do a quick overview of just life since then. I got engaged to my then girlfriend, now wife. Got engaged back in, let's see, it would have been August of 2022. And then my dad did this really cool thing not even a month later where he fucking died and just took all the hype away from his youngest son getting engaged. I mean, what a guy. But of course he didn't plan it, that we know of. But yeah, so that started, I would say that was a pretty good pivotal moment of losing a parent, no matter the relationship. I can say it's probably a huge catalyst for turning you into who you're going to be for your life. Or at least letting you understand and get to a point where you know who you're going to start being. It is an anchor of just a hard time that everyone will have to experience. It's just death in general. And so it really did, a lot of my growth as a person, I can say, has come from just having that very based in reality. I had some family members pass when I was younger, but before 10, so you don't really understand mortality yet. My grandfather passed when I was 19, but even then, it's not. It's different when it's someone that you literally were raised by, or that you grew up in the same house with. No matter with divorce, he was someone that was always in my life. So it was a big event. I like to say that it's also just the start of a downfall. Not really a downfall, but just the start of just you start to realize, and maybe it's just a me thing, maybe it's just a part of I think I have just some generational family curse, but where when something bad happens, you kind of just hit a roller coaster ride of you just try to get to some good times again. But there's just a big downhill for most of it. Just to get into it, we had to come home. Obviously, we were living in Asheville still, and we're back in our hometown in Jacksonville. So when he passed, we're in Asheville. I just started literally day 1 or day 2 of day 1 of my new job, and so we had to pick up, come back home for the funeral services. I want to say by Wednesday we were getting ready to leave. And by Thursday, Friday, we were supposed to get hit with a hurricane on the coast. Fucking awesome. So we had to drive through the night. I can't even remember anymore. I think we left at 11 midnight-ish. The wife had to work that night, so we just waited until she got off, and then we just got on the road and drove through the night. So that was a blast. We can't do anything a small measure. So, that happened, blah, blah, blah. Went through a move, had some different life experiences, other things happened. After that first year, like I said, just things kind of just kept hitting at the same time. Like there was really just no time to just like sit and, just get back to like some normalcy. You kind of enter a new normalcy in life when things like that happen. So consequence of that is me and my now wife Haley never got to really plan a wedding, so we went and got married at the courthouse in Brevard County. Woo, 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 woo. Shout out, or not Brevard County, Transylvania County. We went to Brevard, the city. Transylvania County in North Carolina, for anyone who doesn't know, is the county of waterfalls. They also, anyone who's big into world lore out there, Transylvania is also motherfucking vampires. So just to kind of throw that out there. But we didn't see any vampires. We actually had a lovely ceremony, very intimate, with some friends. Got married by like a sheriff the magistrate who was supposed to have court that morning, and he just luckily was able to throw us in. That was also a thing, as we did not live in Transylvania County. We were going to get married in Buncombe County. And when we called to try to like set up like a time with a magistrate and, to come in and get, figure out like availability, the county had literally just stopped taking weddings or taking, like ceremonies. I don't really even know. I guess you could say, yeah, weddings. They were on some sort of basis where they were like, you have to, like, and from this day forward, it was literally like within like the same week, they were like, here's this date, because we got married on September 27th. So like, September like 15th maybe, they were like, since September 15th we have started, you have to reserve and notify us that you want to have like be married. We are only doing marriages on the third Sunday of every month going forward. Walk-in ability is not a thing anymore. No one can just walk up and say they want to be married. You have to have an appointment. And we were getting married on our days off in the middle of the week, so we had to figure something out. So we went to Brevard County, got married. Great little ceremony with our friends. Had some beers at the local brewery after the fact. Took some pictures at a waterfall. Very, very lovely, and easily one of the best things we've done. Easily one of the best things I've done. I love her very, very much. And again, another big life change. So that was something else to go through. Let's see what else. Then we had to move out of our second apartment because we had new management come in that it was just the lowest of the low, just fucking like scum management. Kind of like we're coming in and we're just changing everything, just to make everything more expensive so we can get more Floridians to come up here and get expensive ass apartments. So we were like, cool. We really liked our second apartment, but fuck us, I guess. So we ended up moving like last minute to a new apartment. Again, both times that we ended up moving, we moved right at the holidays. So our first move, we moved like the week of Christmas. And then our second move, we moved literally like Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving, which then resulted in when we moved back to our hometown, also moving right at Thanksgiving time. So, but hopefully, not even hopefully, we are now set in stone for a few years back in the hometown. Something cool about moving back to your hometown is, maybe someone can fill in the blank there for me, because I don't know what's really cool about being back in your hometown, other than you just know where you're going at all times. You just know where like every single road goes. You're at like learning it, and that's even that. I mean, that's one of the only pluses. We're back close to family, so that's nice. It is really, really nice being closer to family again, be able to go see everyone. But yeah, just, that's a quick overview. Everyone else, I'm sure, anyone else who's listening to this, they know the real details there. Glazing over a few things, but what's really cool is like I said, I literally just sat down. It's 7:20 at night. And was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let me get back on the recording software. Let me hook up my mic and let's just get to yapping. And then I was like, well, you know what? I used to use a website to port the audio for the podcast to Spotify, and I think I just did YouTube myself, like I just did that manually, and that's what I'm assuming. But what I just found out is the really cool thing The website I used to port everything to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Basically, it was just a website. Literally, you just like put the audio file in there, you click where you want the podcast to go, and it just sends it over there for you. And I was actually looking through on Spotify. I didn't even know it like puts a transcript in, like it gives like all the date marks, like it literally goes through and does like a whole like transcript of the episode, which I really did not even know until right now. But so I went to go find this website. And it has been a few years. And again, back then when I was doing all of this stuff and trying to be very creative, when I started a YouTube channel and I started the podcast, I have all these like tools and tips and video tricks like saved to like remind me like where to go and like what to use and like what software to use. I did everything for every video like software and tools except for any fucking podcast stuff. I had none of this set aside. So I literally didn't even know what website I was using. I just completely lost the time in my brain. So I have like 8 Google tabs still open right now where I was trying to find the website. And so I found I ended up on like the wrong one like 2 or 3 times. I was like, fuck, like, and I started going through like YouTube, like searching like podcasts, hosting website 2021, because now in 2025 there's all these new ones that everyone's talking about, and I'm like, well, I want my old one back because like I need to get back to my old stuff, like my old feed, like get logged in. And so I hunted down the video that I like must have first watched 4 years ago and found this website. And so I grabbed it and I was like, perfect, anchor.fm. Now I don't think anyone will know this, but anchor.fm is the website I was using, and they were bought by Spotify in 2019. In 2023, because I've been away from the game, Spotify said, fuck Anchor, now we're changing it and rebranding it to Spotify for Creators. So Spotify, when they bought it, Spotify is huge for podcasts now, so they've like changed it and they've set it up to be like their own thing, and now it's like the same kind of website it looks like, except for using it for Spotify feeds for podcasts. And so I started clicking through. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever. Like, I should be able to pull my stuff up still. Except every podcast, and I'm not very technical, but so for like every podcast, there is something called an RSS feed. And again, not technical, but it's basically like the serial number, I guess, for the podcast. Like, this is how you find like the raw data, like the raw title of what it is, like in terms of like finding it on the internet. And so when I get through the Spotify for Creators now clicks, it's like, okay, cool. Now give us that. What's your RSS feed for your podcast? So basically, what's your serial number for your podcast? I don't fucking remember. I have no idea. Again, I didn't even save the YouTube videos that told me what this website was 4 years ago. I definitely didn't write down the fucking RSS feed number or URL, whatever the fuck you need from me. So I'm literally looking at it on my second monitor right now, where I tried like 2-3 different times of like what I thought it might be, and I cannot figure it out. So this might just be a forgotten episode. This might just go out into oblivion. I am going to try and find it, but I really just wanted to start talking and deal with talking first and getting something out there, because just to kind of get back into the swing of being fun and creative again and doing something different. So I was like, yeah, let me just go, record my voice, and everything else is fucked on the other side of stuff, but I can go figure that out later. Maybe. Worst case, I'll just put it on only YouTube for a little bit if I got to. Which reminds me, I have to go through and edit this and, like fuck with it and then put it on a track and port it over to YouTube. I haven't done this shit in forever. I'm really hoping it's like muscle memory, like riding a bike, but I have no idea if it really is. Oh my god. But yeah, we are so back. I started going through some of the, I didn't even listen really. I listened a little bit to some of the older episodes, which is really funny, and it's something I've just realized about myself from the years. I mean, I was 20 when I posted that originally, and now I'm 24, pushing 30 basically. And what I realized is I was still very nervous. I was still very awkward. I think I've definitely grown into myself a little bit more, gained some confidence in life. Not all the time, of course, because that would just be fucking exhausting. I'm still a nervous little, like, kid half the time. But yeah, I think I've gotten a lot better with recognizing my own voice, through listening to 1,000 fucking podcasts a year, like understanding, talking and like presenting your voice and really like being boisterous. Oh, what a good fucking word. So I think it's a good time to get back into doing stuff like this and something like this. Cause like I said, I feel more confident in it. I feel more confident in myself. Maybe I mean, I've been thinking a lot more lately too, just like people like in terms of like streamers and podcasters and people like YouTubers, first of all, it's really fucking weird. Like if you're thinking about the passage of time, 20 years ago, oh God, I'm gonna sound. I mean I'm not old, but I feel like I'm gonna sound old talking about this. But like 20 years ago, I'm literally shitting myself still. Probably. I mean, what 4 years old? I probably shit myself at 4 years old. That's possible. Never shit myself in my adult life though, so you gotta write that one down. But what I think is, I mean, like YouTube is just like coming around to that point, and like this was all like just starting, where people can get famous online and through the internet, and now we're at a point where it's like fame, like some of the most popular and famous people are coming from just the internet. Like that, I mean, I wouldn't say like the most famous, like the most popular, but like, I mean, like you gain fame by being online, by being a Twitch streamer, by being a YouTuber. Like Mr. Beast went from a guy who says 1 billion words on a podcast or on a stream to a fucking like billionaire who does all these crazy videos and has, however many. Hey, I saw it the other day. I went and looked at his Instagram because I realized I don't follow Mr. Beast. But he has an astronomical. Mr. Beast has 73 million followers right now on Instagram. That's a fucking insane number for anyone. But for somebody who like literally, I mean, I want to say what, like 5-6 years ago is when he made his videos of just repeating or counting from like 1 to 1 billion or like just repeating 1 billion words, and that's how he got his start, and now he's at 73 million followers on Instagram and has a shit ton of money. What I was trying to say, though, is, like, I don't really know if I would want that kind of fame. Like, well, first, like, I mean, I would want the money that comes with it, of course, but anyone would. But it's just weird that, like, your whole thing is you get to go and be online for 4 or 6 hours doing something that you enjoy for an audience, and, like, you kind of, maybe, like, you change up your personality, like, you have to just be, like, very vocal and like put on a show of like being an entertainer. But then you get all these people who are just like turning on your stream and like, oh my God, I love this, like this is awesome, and they're literally just like in the chat, yapping forever. But to a point where like even those people, I guess what I'm trying to say is that with fame comes the loss of real privacy, because like it doesn't matter who you are. If you're famous in any kind of like degree, people want to know more about you. They're going to see you when you go out. They're going to try to figure out more stuff about your life. They're always going to have an opinion about your life. And that's just something where I've started to feel like I don't know if I would ever want that in life. Like I feel like even with like going into the money, I'm saying like so much, but even with going into money and being able to do all these big extravagant things and be able to take care of like all your friends and family because you are making so much money from literally just playing video games online, or just talking and being a talking head that people can turn to you for information. I just think that's insane. Like it's crazy because there's just such a like that loss of privacy. It's something that like I guess just from getting older I started to get concerned about if I ever were able to seek something like that, where it'd be would I really even want that at this point? Like would I be okay and content with riches and being having millions of dollars if it meant everything I do is under a microscope and everyone has to like critique me and say what I have everyone critiques me and it has something to say about what I do. And honestly, I mean, really the biggest thing to like really fix that and to think about that with is just be fucking poor for a little bit again, and you'll be like, damn, I'd do anything for $1 million. I'd do a goddamn anything for $1 million. And all right, I don't know what happened. I think so. I have a old hard drive. Oh damn, the audio like changed really bad. It's like picking me up way better all of a sudden. I have an old hard drive on my computer, and I think that's where Audacity is downloaded, so there's not that much space left on that hard drive. And I have a new SSD, solid state drive for all you tech guys out there. That is way bigger and way faster processing and saving stuff. And I think I need to move Audacity over to it at some point because it just dropped the recording for when it was like I guess like as it's processing and doing the recording, saving its files. I think the other hard drive just can't handle the length of it. Nice. So I think at some point I'll just have to get that switched over. But it looks like it's going to record. It just can't record for 22 minutes straight at a time. But anyways, what I was saying before, just to get back to the million, do anything for $1 million, is it's one of my favorite things to think about when people do like, $1 million, but or like, would you do this for $1 million? Would you do this for $5 million? And it always gets me when someone's like, would you do, blank for $1 million? And the person's like, absolutely not. Like, no, it's got to be 5 million. Like, no, it's got to be 10 billion. Like, no, you have to do X amount more. And then you look at them and it's like, how much do you make an hour though, bud? Like, how much are you making every day when you clock into work? He said, wait, think about what you did at work today. And this is for everyone. Think about what you did for work. Think about your 8-hour shift and maybe even just take out like 2 hours of that shift and think about the real tedious, dumb thing you had to do for whatever amount you're getting paid for. And now imagine if you had to do that tedious, dumb thing and you would get $1 million for it. Now imagine you have to do something fucking disgusting and you get $1 million for it. Exactly. You go to work and you work 8 hours straight for whatever dollar amount you're making, whatever, hourly rate. And let's face it, let's look at the economy right now. Not all of us are working one job. Some of us got two. I just had 2 jobs for a little bit and now I'm back to one full-time is way nicer than 2 part-times. And especially if a man on the street walked up to me when I was working 2 part-time jobs and he looked me in my eyes and was like, I will give you $1 million. But I just found this cockroach covered in doo-doo. If you eat it, I'll give you $1 million. And he shows me, he's like, here's the $1 million. I will give you this. Just eat this. I would rip that cockroach from his fucking hand. And I would eat it like a small child who hasn't eaten in 3 weeks. I'm talking like the most malnourished kid you have ever seen. The most malnourished person. Like oh my God, I go fucking rabid. Have you ever seen a dog like find an animal? Have you ever seen another animal eat another animal? And like they're just like getting into that shit? Me. That would be me with that goddamn cockroach, first of all. But he has $1 million in a briefcase right in front of me. He says, this is yours. You eat this stinky little poopy bug I found. Brother. Immediately. And I know you're going to say is like, oh, the $1 million thing, that's a hypothetical. It's a joke. It's a bit. Everyone is just, no one's thinking about it in the real tense. But if you just change it a little bit and you think about it realistically, all of us would do some insane fucking stuff if we were guaranteed $1 million. Look at, again, I can't believe how much I'm talking about Mr. Beast, but look at Mr. Beast and his channel. Like, sit in this fucking circle for 24 days straight or a month straight. You win however much fucking money, a few $1 million. Oh, do this insane task. And I've never really watched Mr. Beast content like that. I just know like what he does. But like if he walked up to me and was like, I have a challenge and it's going to be near impossible, but like you can get this, like I'll give you $5 billion if you do. I'm done. We're doing it right now. He's like, you have to quit your job in this spot right now. Come outside with me. Put your hand on a car and you have to sit with that hand on the car for a fucking 85 hours straight. Done. Immediately done. Like, like there's not a question to it. I'm fucking doing that, and I'm getting through it. There's something that people don't consider, and that's called, oh my God, never mind. I can't even remember what it's called. It's just the fucking unbreakable human spirit. That shit would burn inside of me like a fucking forest fire if someone walked up to me and gave me the opportunity to get $1 million+ it's going to be a generational run of just like, I would do whatever needs to be done to get that money. Okay. There are some, obviously there's going to be a little bit of like, like I can't do that. Like, like murder, killing, crazy shit. But when it comes to like sit still, like sit in a circle, don't move. go into this glass box. You gotta live here for a month. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Done. He's like, someone walks, they walk up and they're like, hey, can't play video games for 6 months straight. $1 million? Done. Now, video games for life, that'd be a little different, I think. That would be a little different, only because I'm a video game guy. Everybody, I like video games. But they came out, they're like, you can't jerk off for a full year. We will give you $1 million. Done. Fucking, I'm not touching that thing. I'm putting a damn chastity belt on, first of all. I'm throwing away the key. Or I'm giving it to someone who I can trust, so when I have to go pee, because I'm not pissing on myself. No. But, that's that tangent. I find it funny that people, especially when that hypothetical gets brought up, like, would you do this for, X amount of money? They're like, absolutely not. I would never do that for this much money. You're insane if you would do that for them. There's no money in the world that's worth doing that. And it's like, you're dumb. You smell bad. And you're just really not intelligent. That's just what it boils down to. That's where we get into it, and that's just how I feel. Yeah, that's just how I feel. I'm trying to think. I haven't been watching much movies lately. I'm not my ear to pop culture as much as I used to. Big on the political stuff, but we don't even have to get into it. We're all dealing with it every day. You don't want to hear about that. Now on episode 4 of We Are So Back. Let's see. I remember one of the things that cracked me up, one of the old episodes that I remember the boys found one day and were watching, listening to with me in the room. They really liked the orangutan with a sword, I believe, was the argument. It was like if you had to kill a chicken every day or fight an orangutan with a sword once a year. Which is funny because right now, it's kind of past, but the 100 men versus the one gorilla, or the 100 people versus the one gorilla, ladies can fight too. Equal rights, equal lefts. And so I figure, might as well, good old time's sake, get a little opinion in on that one. I think that gorilla's getting fucking folded. I do. I've thought about it. I've ran the simulations in my brain as I go to bed, and it's like that. Gorillas are strong as shit. Yeah, don't get them wrong. Gorillas are. They're a force to be reckoned with, and we're talking 100 men or women, or men and women, or just 100 people. They're out there. No weapons, just fucking brute force throwing hands with a gorilla. I think 100 people is gonna overwhelm that gorilla. 100 people. At least 50 people alone. It's gonna get tired out because we're not doing the fucking action movie 1v1 and the other 99 are just in line waiting to fight them. No, you're jumping them. You're fucking making that gorilla bite the curb. That gorilla is gonna that gorilla's family is gonna be horrifically fucking traumatized from what 100 people are gonna do to it. 100 people. Buddy, 100 people, they used to hunt mammoths with 6 people. Yeah, we're not the same people we used to be with spears and shit running up on a mammoth, but one gorilla, there's enough people there. There's enough fist to gorilla capita. That thing's getting fucked up. It's getting fucked up. There's just no way. I had a good idea here, a good bit to run. Some of the fun, I was thinking, I was like, I'll just go through my notes and just click on them and just see what comes up. Would be kind of funny to get into, talk about. I'm not going to go much longer on this just because we are so back. And I, obviously, like I said, need to figure out the whole podcast uploading shit again and do all that. Also, I do want to keep doing this a little bit more regularly again, maybe even once a week. So I don't really have much to yap about for an hour. And I kind of do, but it's just easier to maintain stuff when it's a little bit shorter. So I was thinking maybe I go through some notes, go through some of the old YouTube history. I did find some earlier that I thought might be funny. Just kind of pick them apart and just kind of go through what my mindset was when I was looking at that. I just thought it'd be interesting to see. I do a big part of this, and being back in my hometown, there's nothing like being back in a place that you grew up in for 20 years. There's nothing new. They build some new buildings, whatever. It's just a fucking result of capitalistic hell. So it's just like giant chain restaurants and chain buildings and chain retailers being put in. What's funny is the mall is still up and running, but like, I mean, it's going to be dead soon enough, I feel like. So what I'm getting at here is that I have a pretty mediocre job right now. It's not very entertaining or fun. And so it kind of helped me touch base with myself that I should really get back into being creative and trying to make stuff and have an outlet, something to look forward to, something that I can work on, something I can work and do that brings me some joy, instead of, just having the same mediocre days and, doing the same routine every day. So just trying to find some new stuff and get back into the old stuff that I've been into forever and just kind of rebuild that creative side of myself. So that's the biggest thing for doing this kind of thing again. I will maybe be running a half marathon in October. I have literally never ran more than 2 miles consecutively in my life, other than sprinting, of course, and not sprinting 2 miles, just like sprinting 100 meters, 400 meters, training for, sprinting races. So I don't know really how that's going to go. What I'm also worried about is I really want to get back in the gym and gain some weight back. And when I last worked out and I had a good routine going, I gained 20 pounds and I was 175. So I don't want to get big and bulky and not be able to run well. I also don't want to start running at the size I'm at now, because I'm probably like 160, if not sub 160 right now, because I'm just not taking care of myself like I should. So I really don't want to get skinnier. I feel way too skinny and scrawny as I am now. So hopefully that's something I can get through and get a good routine going and, getting a little muscle mass back while running. I also don't know if I'm going to enjoy running that much. I've never enjoyed running that much. I've enjoyed running. I used to really fuck with running. I mean, I love sprinting. I love taking off at full speed. It's great for your thighs and your calves. You get a little bit of endurance in there, but really, like, you're building muscle because you're trying to push your body faster and faster. But as you get older, long distance running, just staying active is good for you and better for you. At least that's what it seems like. So, it's not a bad thing to get into, but when you want to just get big and fucking bulky, it doesn't really, they kind of fight each other. But, some people are big and they do have good cardio and they do good cardio. I'll tell you what, when I was in the gym on a, once or 5 days a week routine, I was not fucking doing cardio. To be fair, I was also walking like 5-6 miles at work every day. So it was like, why am I going to do fucking cardio? I'm up on my feet walking around. But it wouldn't hurt to do cardio. Cardio is always good for you. Unfortunately, big cardio he's right. Big cardio out there trying to force everybody to get on their feet and run. It does help with your heart. It does help with, your longevity as a person and living a long life. But also people get cancer and die at 40. So don't talk to me too much about it. I lied about going through my notes. It is not fun. There's just a bunch of work shit in here. Yeah, there's just nothing of entertainment here. There's just old work notes, literally like 3 new notes in a row where I just forgot to write anything. Notes about like doing chores. Nothing too funny in there. But anyways, I hope everyone is doing well. We're going to cap out right here around 40 minutes, it looks like. So, do a little send off. Again, it's kind of cool to be able to be creative again. I don't know if this will actually ever be posted because, like I said, looks like I have lost the rights to my podcast, or at least lost the serial number to my fucking podcast. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really hoping for it. I'm hoping they get better at this, do this more often. I really just want to be creative again and make stuff, even that's like stupid little YouTube videos, stupid little like gaming videos, just trying to get back onto a creative outlet and to have some fun, and just to make life enjoyable for myself when I'm stuck in a mediocre job and trying to figure out the next step for myself, because really right now I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I don't know who I'm gonna be, especially in the next 10 years. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know who I'm going to be. I know that I will be married to my wife, and that is really all that matters to me. Is as long as I got her, I'm good. But, trying to figure out yourself and, put yourself in a position of being happy and putting yourself in a position to feel fulfilled by the things you do and, doing something that you care about and that matters to you. It's just something that is becoming more and more important the older I'm getting. Again, I'm only pushing 30, 24, so pushing 30. So I'm not too old yet, and there's still plenty of time to get to be creative and experience new things. And I'm just really hoping that doing this, talking to my friends again through a podcast where they're going to maybe listen to me ramble, will help me get back into that. And I hope that does push me into, new challenges and new experiences that will help me find just a little bit more enjoyment in life and have a little bit more fun, I guess. If I can say anything to the 6 maybe people listening, do the same for yourselves. Take a look inside, figure out what would just make you feel a little bit better every day, something that would make you a little bit happier. If you want to do some creative stuff, figure out what that could look like and just get the ball rolling. One of the biggest things that you always hear from people who are just genuinely creative and that they just like to make things, and not people trying to sell you the idea of being creative or sell you the idea of do this and be successful like me. People who are just genuinely at their core a creative person and enjoy being creative and want to spread their creativity to just experience what human beings can make together. They'll always tell you is just get the ball rolling and get started. So that's what I'm doing again. I have found the ball at the bottom of the hill. It was covered in trees and moss and shit, and just probably some dirt and some cockroaches with a little poopy on them. No one's to give me $1 million to eat those, so I'm just gonna brush them off and I'm gonna start pushing that fucking rock again and get the ball rolling again. Yeah, you like that. You like that little metaphor. I guess it's not really a metaphor; it's just me rambling, but. So do the same for yourself. If you have anything, especially for my friends listening, I mean, we're all around the same age. We're all at a point where we've been working our asses off for the last few years. We've all had different experiences. Life changes for all of us. But if you've lost touch with your inner child just a little bit or altogether, then go find him, Go find him or her, smack her on the head, smack him on the head, give him a slap, tell him that he's a little bitch or she's a little dickhead. And that you're doing your best and, fuck off for a minute. Actually, I mean, we're trying to, rekindle, reconnect with them. But let them know, hey, I'm bigger than you. Get fucked. I have to take care of life shit. You're just a little kid. You don't understand. And then figure out, where that reconnection can happen, where you can get back to the ideas, or at least just, you had an idea of who you're going to be when you grow up. And it's not a bad thing to just, reconnect with your inner child and try to get back to being the person that you wanted to be as a kid, or even just be a little bit more like that person. You don't have to give up everything. Obviously, working adults, we can't fucking, farm rainbows all day. Not us poor people. We can't fucking sit around and be like, oh, I'm going to play Minecraft all day and that'll be my life. We got to do shit to eat and sleep and drink and have a roof over our head. So, but take the time that you can, especially in a time of today, and just try to do a little something to make yourself a little happier. And that's what I'm trying to do, and I hope everyone, all my friends, all 6 of them that listen to the show, do the same thing. There's going to be 2 people that are hyped about this, and I think that maybe 3. Maybe 3. But yeah, that's what I can say there. Not to run it a little bit longer too, but also fuck AI. Do not come on, fuck AI. We all need to be on the same page about this. That shit is so stupid. AI is cool as a tool. It definitely is. There are some useful applications of it, but do not let AI just be everything. Don't let AI start taking shit over. People companies already firing people to use AI as their service. That shit is crazy. Not to be on a bad end note here, but we are months away from the singularity event, which if you don't know, the singularity event is when technology hits a point where it is so good, basically, or that it's just so self-capable that it will basically just run away with itself, that we won't even be able to it becomes so advanced that it hits a point where it just starts advancing itself, and we have no control over like stopping that advancement. That's kind of like how I understand it. I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, you can watch a YouTube video on the singularity event. I might do that after this. But so just with AI being out there and shit, be careful. Don't let it it can create stuff. It's cool, and you can use it as like a tool to like be a little bit more creative yourself, or like to get ideas. Or just like even like like using it for an essay, just like get a little help on like your wording and shit. But don't let it just like do everything. Us as humans, we should be doing most of creative shit ourselves. That's the whole cool part about being a human being, is that like we're creative by nature. So don't let the robots take over. There's so many different stories and movies about robots taking over, and we're literally just like getting to the precipice, like the start of it. It seems like, at least. I mean, I'm just again, I'm rambling. I'm just doing a little ramble. So, but that's just my opinion on it. It's crazy shit. It's weird. Some of it is cool. It is useful. It's a tool. But it definitely feels like a moment in time where like technology is starting to get more and more advanced, and even to a point where like we're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's so cool, it's advanced, like, this is a new thing. But then it's just like destroying the ecosystem or destroying the environment. And again, I mean, not again, I haven't said this, but like human beings kind of need a place to live, and I don't think we're making it to Mars anytime soon. So maybe just don't use AI that much. We don't really need it. It's just a thing. And now it's like, oh, this is the cool, we gotta fucking prioritize this shit. We don't. We really don't. we don't. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? This is just a white man on a podcast that he created for himself with one microphone, and it's been 4 years since he's done anything with that. So, yeah, take it at face value. Do what you want. But yeah, I am very happy to say that we are so back, and hopefully I will keep doing this, and it'll become a little bit more of a routine thing, and it helps me and whoever's listening, my close friends, people that aren't my close friends, if we spread the word a little bit even to, some strangers. I don't think they'd want to listen to this, but, one day it'd be cool. And hopefully I can like leave a message for everyone, listening, and help, I don't know, just keep in touch better with everybody. I'm not good at texting and calling and keeping in touch and reaching out to people. So, just a little something, something for everybody. Get a little in-depth look at my life, or a little peek in, hear me fucking yap for a little bit, and we'll go from there. Well, anyways, ladies, gentlemen, theys and thems, we are finishing up here. That was episode 4. We, again, are so fucking back. 4 years, almost 4 years later, and we got episode 4. He finally fucking did it. The absolute rapscallion, this motherfucker, actually did it. The absolute mad lad. And that's it. I will leave you guys with that. Enjoy the rest of whatever the fuck you're doing. I don't really care whatever you're doing. Just don't be jacking it. That's a little weird. I'm going to cut that. I'm just not good at doing an outro. I just keep fucking going. But thank you guys for listening. God, I fucking love Dr. Pepper.